Game number 2 is live, and we are on Habitation Station. Starting to the top left, we have HeroMarine in a 1-0 lead in the best of 3 against his Protoss opponent to the top right. And this is Vydra. In case you're watching the VOD, I want to highlight once again, since people for some reason don't realize this when I write it in the description. This is a live recording of a live cast that we're doing right now. One of the things that always amazes me is that when I jump into these games, I usually want to adjust my overlay to showcase who is currently in the lead in the series. And if you have that loading screen and a player is to the left side, you would expect him to be on the left side as well in the overlay that we have right here, which is not always the case. To the day, 2 years into StarCraft, or 2.5, I have yet to find out how I know in a lobby or in a loading screen which player is going to show up to the left and which player is going to show up to the right here. I've thought about all the possible things, like who's going to be the top player in the first slot in the lobby, who's going to be the second player, who is the player who joins the lobby first, who's going to be the player who joins the lobby second, and still to the day I don't know for certain yet how I can, what's the rule there. Or if it's just purely random and Blizzard just decided at some point, you know what, let's troll all those casters a little bit that were trying to do online tournaments and just go for that. And someone said like, oh yeah, that's a great idea, and they are having a laugh every single time they're watching a cast. I don't know. Might be the case. Coming back to the game though, we have HeroMarine with Gas and also with Barracks opening up into this game. It's a bit of a smaller map. In the last game on Frost, he started with the Command Center first, and hell, why not? It's a 4-player map. This is a 2-player map, so it's a little bit more risky to pull off a move like this. So instead, he's just going for a Reaper build to find out what's happening in White Raw space and trying to maybe do a little bit of damage to the Protoss player. So nothing out of the ordinary just here. It's basically very similar to the opening that we see from Terran against Zerg, in a case that you're not quite familiar with this. It's actually pretty difficult sometimes to do these online casts and also like YouTube casts in general, because we have such a mixed audience these days. There are a lot of hardcore StarCraft fans that basically haven't missed the game since StarCraft came out, and they know all about that. And then you have a lot of players who are a little bit newer, who don't watch these streams every time and just tune in occasionally. So you always have to find the right mix between explaining like fundamental basics and trying to cater to the more hardcore fans, which is not really always that easy. But I hope that you guys are happy with the cast so far and with the show so far. I certainly have a pretty cool time casting these games for you. We're pretty lucky to have such a nice tournament here, and once again a big thanks to esportsventure.com for their esports support here, and also of course to Take TV for hosting the entire thing here. To the right side of the map we have Vydra now with the Nexus. Keep in mind, Habitation Station is the map with the 2 gold bases in the middle of the map. And a few of you will remember the good old days where we had the gold bases also in the GSL, for example. It led to a couple of really interesting games, because a couple of Terran players starting into the game on game maps like Metalopolis or Antigua Shipyard would just lift their, right at the beginning, it would just simply lift their orbital command, fly that over to the gold base and say like, yep, that's absolutely worth it. And one of those guys was Marine King. And then at some point people in tournaments decided that gold bases were a little bit imbalanced in favor of certain races, and that it's probably a good idea to get rid of them and just replace the gold mineral patches with blue mineral patches. And a couple of players didn't get the memo, and one of those players was Marine King, the guy who likes to lift his command center and fly to a gold base. So in ESWC 2011, what Marine King does in one of the games on Antigua Shipyard, the game starts against the Zerg player, and that guy lifts his orbital command, flies towards the gold base, and as soon as he's maybe right over there with his orbital, he looks at it and is like, oh my god, there are no gold patches, these are blue patches. So he turns around, flies back to his original spot and drops it again and starts mining. So it basically starts the game with like a 30-second to a minute delay, and he still won the game. That's how damn good that guy was back then. And now he's playing LOL. Facepalm moment right there. And apparently he's not all that good at it. So he played a little bit of StarCraft recently on his stream, so maybe we are gonna welcome him at some point, but he didn't play the Code A qualifier or anything, so I'm not quite sure what exactly is going on with that guy. But yeah, back then he was like one of my favorite players to watch, even though he was a Terran, but well, we can't all be perfect. Jokes aside, Terrans are awesome. We have currently for Marine King and for Vydra a very passive game. Like both of them are taking it easy for now. We have to the main base of Vydra once again robotics tech, not only Immortals being cranked out here, but at the same time also getting the first robotics bay, which will allow him then to get the Colossi. And for Marine, we have not too much happening out of the ordinary here. Once again, relying on the single engineering bay, not going for double engineering bay or anything like it. It's basically a very similar build to what he executed in game number 1, if you think about it. Very, very similar. He also has he doesn't have this much of a commitment towards the barracks, but it's also because his opening differed slightly. Remember, he started with Command Center first in game number 1 with the Reaper opening here, so he has a double barracks right now. And at this point, Mothership Core is starting to be a little bit annoying, and it can be really happy that that stim upgrade is not done yet. If he would have arrived like 10-15 seconds later, that would be a dead Mothership Core right there. And that would have probably been the time where HeroMarine would have said, you know what, I'm just gonna attack you. You don't have forward on overcharge right now. I'm just gonna go in and try to do some damage right now. So looking at this, let me have a quick look at the overall supply. Actually, what do we have? Like, worker supply is roughly the same, which is actually bad for Hydra. If you had 44 probes against 44 SCVs, that is not a good position to be in, because that Terran player has mules and you don't. But he's adding a lot of gateways here, so maybe he wants to just move out and do some damage. Cutting the probes at 44. Not really eager to get a third base. HeroMarine is getting his third command center. What is the Hydra gonna do here? Is he trying to move out? Out, as the Canadians would say. With all those views, that's a good stim, but the force fields are not too shabby either. Double time warp being dropped by the Mothership Core that came in from behind. Dirty, and at the same time it paid for it with its life. So Hydra got a pretty good battle there, and he's moving across the map already. That one Panic Viking that is being built right now is most likely not going to go and do too much in the next battle. We have only one Colossus though. The second one is just on the way. He's trying to run, but those legs are pretty awkward. There we go. The missile turret is hunting the first Colossus there. That's a lot of damage done by Hydra. He is moving in and doing damage, but he needs to be careful. He's actually getting killed by the missile turret. Kills one, and guess what he killed? Yes, that's the Colossus. HeroMarine is down in supply though, and here's Colossus number 2. Hydra really has to do some damage right now. And if he would have microed that Colossus better, I think that would have probably been the end of HeroMarine. But now, let's look at the overall supply once again. 38 versus 39 in army supply. And Hydra is moving in, but now he's already facing 2 Vikings. Can he snipe the second one? Nope, Colossus is already down, but the same is true for the rest of HeroMarine's army, especially those Marauders, a priority number 1 for that Immortal. 9 kills already, and it looks like Hydra might have done it. He's not there just yet, but he's looking pretty solid, especially with the reinforcements that he just warped in. And there we go, Hydra for the win. The special tactics prevailing again, and that is looking pretty sick. Hydra is actually doing it. HeroMarine completely overwhelmed by this. He is blindsided, he had no idea what was coming. Hydra not going over 44 Harvesters, just going for the kill here. And talking about killing, that orbital command is going to have a very bad day here. He's most likely going to be able to take that down. Well, maybe not quite, but if he goes up that ramp, and I think he could, he's going to end the game. There's 2 base economy against 1 base economy. Hydra has quite a lot of resources, can go for another round of warp in, so just simply say, you know what, I'm going to camp that base, I'm going to deny you a natural, and instead I'm just going to probe up and take a third, maybe even the gold expansion. So the 2 blaze timing of Hydra with the Colossus works, even though it was a little bit like of a lulz moment when we had that missile turret take out a Colossus. That's not really what you see every day. So here comes Hydra going up that ramp. Yes, he's moving into a concave. Yes, he's moving to a bio army with Stim, but he doesn't care because he has a pretty sick army, and that army is having a good day. Those Stalkers, on the other hand, at the bottom of the ramp, they are looking a little bit silly, like, hey, listen guys, we would like to participate too, like we're there for a reason, hey, could we please get up that ramp and do some damage? Can you just right-click a little bit so that we have a chance to just join the battle? And all the units at the front, especially the sentries that were blocking the choke point, were like saying, hey, stay back there and wait until it's your turn. Range upgrade is also something that is apparently highly overrated by Protoss players. At least Vydra thinks that he doesn't need that, up to the point where he starts attacking there. But without the range upgrade, he already did a good job. Oh, snipes another Medivac, and HeroMarine. Oh my god, boy. You are 60 supply down, and you are not looking good in this game. That was just, he did not expect this to be this aggressive. And Vydra, yeah, you can't throw here. That just doesn't happen. You should probably probe up on the other hand. He's still at 44. This time against 19, but there's no harm done in just like taking a gold base or like doing whatever. As long as you deny that natural, you're absolutely looking brilliant here. So 1 immortal at the front. No third base taken, no probes taken. Vydra just wants to end it. He's gonna go full Russian here. Yes, I said it. Sue me. He is like going full Russian and he wants to end that game. This is not going to be a half-assed, yeah, I'm going to transition out of that and just try and end the late game. No, he is going for it. He wants to end that game right there, and I like it. So we have, at this point, HeroMarine is trying to stabilize, and Vydra is going to wait for the second punch to drop. At the same time, he needs to defend in his main base, and that's a pretty sick Doom job. And Vydra says, like, if you have all those units in my base, you have nothing at home to defend this. So he's going to take down that orbital command, bye-bye orbital, and moves into the main base of this opponent. A bit of a base race scenario that we have right now. The orbital is going to, sorry, the Nexus Overcharge is going to do some damage, but the next round of warp-ins is probably going to put an end to those Marines. At least Vydra decided that he does that now, snipes everything in the main base, tries to snipe those flying buildings too, but at the same time, with the Colossus now suddenly gone, Vydra needs to be careful that he doesn't lose that game after all. He doesn't have a third base, and those Marines do a lot of damage. Is there a Mothership Core? I do not think so, and without a Mothership Core you can't recall. But you have a few Stalkers there, and they are helping out a lot, especially with the rest of the army moving back already. A few units over here to the top left, they are taking down the rest, and HeroMarine, it was a nice move and I really liked it. It had some merit, but it's not gonna win him the game. It's just not gonna win him the game. No. Not gonna work. But yeah, so HeroMarine on 22 supply against 78 is still stinging out. I think this is like a Marine, an MKP GG timing combined with a fantasy timing. Oh, there it is, GG. And we have game number 3 coming in between Vydra and HeroMarine. It's a good day, boys. It is a good day, for sure.